Friendship between the two countries is based on trust and cooperation. History is proof of this everlasting friendship. The CPAC, we believe, is a vision of this friendship, is proof of this friendship. The asset that Pakistan has, one of the greatest assets that this country has, is its geography. And I think CPAC connects very well with that asset. We have to make it successful. A long time has passed. We are seeing progress which is slow. We would hope that we are going to speed it up. The proof that we all are interested in this project, the proof that we have a great friendship between the two countries, lies in the fact that today all the political parties are present only because of your presence here and because you invited us. I would like to say that friendship with China is the pivot of our foreign policy. It is the pivot, and the pivot means there is the basic foundation, which is unshakable, and we'll always stand by our commitments with you. And most important for us is elimination of poverty. Your Excellency has said that we need three fundamentals: reform, development, and stability. We also believe that these are the three elements that we need to work on. And in terms of stability, this country, yes, we need stability against terrorism, we need political stability, we need understanding and cooperation. And we, on the platform of CPAC, at least are willing and ready for national causes to be of full assistance. We believe in the rule of law, and I think that for business, the most essential aspect is that there must be rule of law in existence, which means that the courts have to function independently, which means that contracts have to be honored, which means that commitments have to be fulfilled. And redress to the courts has to be effective and speedy. So we need to work on that basis. When I've had meetings with many of you independently, especially your visiting business communities, this is the most important thing they have stressed. And we believe that your first part, reform, includes reform of law also. In terms of what we stand for, I'm sure that your visit here is going to be lucrative. The smiles that you see are genuine, and you should enjoy our hospitality while you are here as well.
It is my honor to address you today on the significant achievements of our strategic partnership with China. Our relationship with China goes beyond economic cooperation, rooted deeply in mutual respect, strategic trust, and shared vision for peace and prosperity. China's journey to becoming a scientific superpower proves the importance of sustained investment in research and development. Formidable leader in technology and innovation, China's progress demonstrates the power of vision, collaboration, and peaceful coexistence. In past few decades, China's GDP growth, averaging about 9% annually, is a testament to a sustained policy focus and investment in sectors like technology, education, and infrastructure. China's evolution serves not just as a lesson, but as an inspiring blueprint that demonstrates what can be achieved with dedication and strategic foresight. The Belt and Road Initiative aims to bring economic prosperity and development across South and Central Asia by integrating these countries into a cohesive economic network. By creating new trade routes and facilitating investments, BRI seeks to foster economic growth, reduce regional disparities, and promote mutual cooperation among participating nations. This initiative envisions a future of shared prosperity for our peoples and stability through economic interdependence. CPEC has been a cornerstone of Pakistan economic development strategy. Through China's unwavering support, we have successfully transformed our power sector, adding over 8,000 megawatts of electricity to our national grid. This achievement has not only boosted industrial productivity, but also reduced hardship faced by our citizens. CPEC is not merely a corridor of commerce, but a beacon of transformation, driving our nation towards growth and stability. China has been an invaluable partner to Pakistan, particularly in the field of education. Over 28,000 Pakistani students are currently studying in China, gaining invaluable knowledge and skills that they will bring back to our homeland. We appreciate China's ongoing support in this vital area and look forward to continuing our partnership to foster further educational and development opportunities.
Excellency, I'll just make 3 short points which are very relevant. Number one, the context of your visit and this joint consultation mechanism. President Xi Jinping has rightly said that we are witnessing once-in-a-century changes. And one of those changes had been predicted by the great poet philosopher, Dr. Allama Iqbal, whom you just quoted. He not only mentioned about the peaceful rise of China 90 years ago, but he also talked of the resurgence of the Asian century. And today we see that resurgence of the Asian century.
पाक चीन मुशावरती मैकेनिज्म इजलास जारी है जिससे सियासी रहनुमा इजहार ख्याल कर रहे हैं.
Across the board, across all political divide in Pakistan exists for taking CPEC further and for believing really in the friendship between these two countries. I would want to also say over here that we are all experiencing the world going through what you have very ably described as turbulent waters and treacherous shores. And in these turbulent waters and treacherous shores, wherever we go in the Western forums representing Pakistan, we most of the time find ourselves representing not only Pakistan, but also having to represent China, because I think the world is not taking the rise or the rejuvenation of China as, optimistically or as well, or with as open arms and heart as we would have expected it to. As the world order is fracturing, I think the role that China plays and this friendship between China and Pakistan plays becomes even more important still. I look at ourselves as the frontiers sort of states to be holding on to some type of order, to be the spokespersons for multilateralism, because it seems that all the countries which seem to have laid the seeds for the order that existed, which was rules-based, do not like the rules as much when they work in favor of developing countries. We are experiencing this as we speak, and I am reminded of the article that I recently read in The Economist. As someone who's been reading The Economist for almost 20 years, I know that it is not very kind to China mostly. But when it writes about the Chinese scientific revolution and acknowledges that 19 years back when they first looked at the Chinese scientific world and asked themselves the question that is China going to become a scientific power, they say unequivocally the answer today is yes. And they also tell us that amongst the 2 top science and technology universities, no more lie in the West.